So you're actually not bad with money. Yeah, newsflash, you probably just don't know how to manage your money and you probably didn't learn. Think about it. When we're learning something new or a baby's learning to walk, right? We don't look at that baby and say, oh my God, that child is so dumb. No, we just say, oh, they're still learning to walk or they haven't learned to walk yet. And that's exactly how we should frame our thinking when we're thinking about our finances, especially if we're young or young at heart. So hear me out. This is the ultimate guide to understanding and managing your finances, especially if you're a new grad or young adult. So I have been an adult for all of 1 year. Like, I'm kidding. A couple years now, but I don't count college because I think that's some kind of matrix. All of 1 year, meaning graduated college, completely reliant on the sweat of my own brow. And dealing with family, if you have school, work, trying to figure out yourself as a human and what you want out of life, and eating, showering, and just being a whole human. I don't know about you guys, but after all of that, I barely have 2 brain cells left to function. And so I completely understand how people get caught up in living paycheck to paycheck, especially or despite making quote unquote good money. I believe 78% of people who make over $50,000 a year in the United States, so Americans, are living paycheck to paycheck. So that tells me it's something more than just making good money. There's more to it than that. And there's more to good financial management and understanding money than just making good money. And I am here to break down some of those things and make it a bit more digestible so that it won't take up so much time and energy to get on top of your finances, because we all can do it and we all have the ability to. So I'm going to be going through in this video my 3-part framework of how I think about money, and I'll top it off with some of the things I use to automate my financial tracking system. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around. So earning it. And while we talk about earning it, I'm going to warm up some lunch because I'm kind of hungry. We're having pasta. Earning it is kind of self-explanatory. You want to put yourself in the best position to earn as much funds as you possibly can, because that's going to be the basis of the entire money framework. You can't necessarily spend, invest, or even save without actually earning money. If you're in college, that would look like thinking a lot about your major and ensuring that the return that you get on your major after exiting college is going to be one that's substantial and worth the time investment you're making in college. If you're outside of college, that would look like learning different skills, or learning maybe a highly specialized skill that will, boost your income at the current job you're at. So if it's maybe getting a master's because you want to kind of move up levels in the corporate world, or that could look like doing different courses outside of that, learning other specialized skills like trading or even real estate to boost your income. Earning it is all about using the time that you have and using the skills that you also have to basically maximize on the amount of income you have. Honorable mentions for the earning category is leveraging your skills, but using those skills to create things like side hustles. So things that are low-hanging fruit that come easy to you, that don't necessarily come easy to other people. So you leverage your strength here to create a side hustle, and that could look like cutting hair or doing makeup, things like that to help you to earn some extra cash on the side. So leverage your position, leverage the strengths that you have, and think about how you can use your current situation to really maximize the amount of funds that you're bringing in. So while you think about that, I'm going to warm up my lunch. Okay, just wrapped up lunch. It was great. And now I'm just drinking my water because, digestion. This cup is what I got from my alma mater, Kettering University, which is where I learned part 2 of the whole money framework, which is keeping it, right? In college was a rough time, honestly. Was able to graduate debt free, will never stop saying that. But in order to do so, I really had to get intentional about how I was spending and saving my money. The K in the money framework stands for keeping it. So how are you going to keep your money? So going back to college now, I had to be very intentional on what my money values were and what I was going to spend my money on and what I wasn't going to spend my money on. That looked like not buying a car and spending money on studying abroad versus not studying abroad in college. That also looked like having a tight budget. Basically, I remember when I was like, 9, and it was the 2008 recession, my auntie would just say this thing, and I never really understood it until I was in college. She was like, you know, to say a recession, but on a tight budget. So that's Jamaican patois, of course, which basically means I'm on a very tight budget because we're in a recession. And I never understood it until I got to college and realized, yeah, I needed to be on a tight budget because I don't have disposable income. I had to get very intentional about living below my means, only buying necessities, and then finding the joys in the little things. That didn't mean that I couldn't do, fun things, but I had to, as I said, be intentional about what I was going to spend my money on and what I wasn't going to spend my money on. So that's like the first half of the keep it category, deciding what you're going to spend your money on and what you're not going to spend your money on. So it's spending, having a quote unquote budget overall. Secondly, in the keep it part of the money framework is how are you going to save your money? That's when I discovered high yield savings accounts, which is basically a savings account that pays you to save your money. So it would give you like 2, 3, 5% interest rate. I think it's currently at 3.5% interest rate to basically keep your money there. And it's called a high yield savings account because in comparison to like a regular savings account that you just open at a regular bank, you earn like 0.01% exactly, which is basically like nothing. In keeping my money in a high yield savings account, that is where I was able to save my after college fund, which helped me a lot when I was moving out and moving states for my first full-time job after college. So 1, high yield savings account. 2, so we spoke about high yield savings accounts, right? Those are how you can make your money work for you in a sense. But another faction of like the keeping it part is like deciding what you want to save for. I'm a firm believer of, you can do anything, you can enjoy life how you want it and do it responsibly. All you have to do is plan, right? All you have to do is plan. And what planning looks like is setting up different accounts, what we like to call in the, financial community, sinking funds. And you'd set up sinking funds for different goals that you have. And each time you get paid, for example, if you work like a regular job and it's fortnightly, you put a set amount of money towards that sinking fund. So you have that money when that thing comes up. So sinking funds can look like saving for travel. You want to save $500 for travel. So you put $10 every single paycheck towards travel. And so when you're thinking about traveling next time, you have this bank of a few $100s to draw from because you've put aside money for that. So even though it might not fully cover the overall expense of your travel, you have some funds to offset that expense because you thought about it. I do this for travel, I do this for gifts, and that's how I kind of set up my sinking fund. And then on the flip side, you have like bigger purchases that you want to save towards as well. And here you would probably put aside a larger amount of, say, your paycheck towards this goal. And that would be like a house down payment or like a car, a wedding, like these bigger things. So there you have it. That is the EKG for understanding finances. So earning it, keeping it, and growing your money. Lastly, I want to talk about some tips and ways that I automate this, and I'll just go through it in rapid fire fashion. Earning it, in automating earning, you can think about how you want to go about acquiring assets. Maybe that's real estate, maybe that's stocks, a course online, or maybe it's like music and you get royalties. So thinking about something that will remove you from the equation of actually having to work. Number 2, keeping it. This is my favorite part, and it saves me a lot of headache. It removes me out of the equation, and this is automating your savings. So you can go into the back end of either your accounts or your, how you get paid. So if that's a job portal that they have, you can split your paycheck in the sense of, percentages or even dollar amounts to say, hey, I want 5% going to this account, 10% going to this account, 15% going to this account. And you can do do it like that. The second way I like to automate this keep it section of the money framework is by using financial apps. I use the Mint app, but I've also started using the Monarch Money app, and it's cool because it like leverages AI and stuff like that. But all in all, it basically tells you how much you're spending, what your budget should look like based on your savings goals. It tells you whether or not you're going over budget, which is really a saving grace for me because sometimes I really just be out here doing the absolute worst. So check out those two apps, Mint or Monarch. I'll have them linked below. I really love Monarch because it applies AI and basically tells me based off how much I want to save, how much I should be spending, which is like amazing because I really don't have to think. And then lastly, for growing it, I'd say this is similar to like the first thing I said, where you just set out how much you want to be taken from like your paycheck or how much you want to be automatically invested per month. And then you can go into these different financial apps and say, okay, based off this account, take this amount of money each month and invest it in this. Not rocket science. I hope those tips helped, and I hope even more that this framework made sense. This is what I use. Super excited to start the conversation about money here on this channel, or continue the conversation about money here on this channel. So let me know in the comments below what you've been using, if this makes sense, if you need me to make more videos explaining a bit more in detail any of the other concepts here, and what you are currently using to manage your finances, because trust me, I still need help. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!